नाजरीन अस्सलाम वालेकुम। लीगल नॉलेज के सेगमेंट में मोहम्मद आलम आपके साथ हाजिर है। आज के सेगमेंट में हम बात करेंगे म्यूचुअल रिस्पेक्ट बाय पेडेस्ट्रियन एंड ड्राइवर्स मे रिड्यूस लॉट ऑफ एक्सीडेंट्स। जी हाँ नाजरीन, you are driver or you are pedestrian, if we both take full responsibility and care, we may be able to reduce many accidents on the roads. And how we can do that, I will first talk to you and give you some tips and some reminding tips in fact to the pedestrian that how you may reduce the accidents. Number one, while you are crossing the road, you have to be very careful and vigilant. Be aware of your surroundings. When you're crossing the road, you must ensure before you cross that the traffic light allows you to cross the road. If you have pedestrian signal is on, and even if pedestrian signal is on, you're not allowed to jump on the road without looking at if there is any other dangerous conditions exist by a driver. So for example, light turns to your way, you should still look at the traffic left and right. If there is another traffic, if there is any other car which is turning left or right, and that may come to your path, and if you still see it, no matter what, even if it's your right of way, and if you have seen a car that may pose a danger, you should stop. While you are crossing the road, we all understand, especially in winter season, we all in a hurry because we all want to get out of cold weather, but don't run, don't rush, because if you run or rush, you may be slip and fell while you're crossing the road, and you may hurt yourself and you suffered another injuries. So rushing and running is also not a good idea. In addition, while you are crossing the road, if you are on your bicycle, you should not be crossing the street or intersection while you are on bicycle. It is against the law. You should get off the bicycle and walk with your cycle or bicycle while you're crossing the road. In addition, we have to be careful as a pedestrian when you are using the intersection to cross. If the intersection is not lit up or the surrounding is dark, you have to be very careful because you are not visible. You may not be visible to a driver who is turning left or right into that intersection. And we all know that during winter season, we may have a hat or a cap. We may be covering our face. Many times we use black jacket or winter coat. In that case, remember, you may not be visible to many drivers. So we are not talking about all the drivers. There are drivers who are very attentive. They know how to enter into an intersection and give right of way to the pedestrian. But there are some drivers who are inattentive. You have to keep that in mind. And based on that, while you are wearing black attire, you may not be visible to them. So you also have to ensure that the traffic movement, even if a car is turning, if a car is coming from a driveway near the intersection. So while you're keeping out all these things in your mind, and most importantly, while you're walking or crossing the street or an intersection, you must ensure that you're not using your cell phone, because we all know there are several accidents happen while pedestrians or a pedestrian is crossing while he's on his phone or her phone. It's extremely dangerous because you do not know what is happening in your surrounding. And even if at the same time, if an inattentive driver enters into intersection, you will be out of luck. So it's your responsibility as well that you ensure and you can avoid many collisions as a pedestrian. Similarly, as a driver, we all have to be responsible because we are behind the wheel. We have given a responsibility because a car, while you're driving, can be a weapon, which many people sometimes even don't understand, because while you're driving you have a weapon, and if you're not using this weapon properly, you may kill somebody. And this is not unusual or uncommon that we see serious road crash, we see pedestrians are killed, and only because we do not pay proper attention while we are driving. When you are entering into the intersection, you have to be looking at the intersection. If there is a traffic light, far behind, what is the color of the traffic light? If the light is turning amber and you have a safe distance, you should stop, slow down and stop. Never try to cross the intersection or beat a red or amber light, because in that case you are speeding up, and if a car in front of you at the other side of the intersection slow down or stop, you will have no choice and you will crash that car. Similarly, if you're not attentive and you're not paying attention to the traffic light which is turning to amber, you may have to hit your brake to stop at the intersection suddenly, and as a result you may be rear-ended by another vehicle. In that case, you may still be at fault of the accident, although you were rear-ended by another car. In addition, while at the intersection, you also must scan the intersection properly. If there is a pedestrian, if there is a driveway, if there is maybe another car coming out of driveway, so you have to be very attentive and make sure while you're driving and passing through an intersection which is not properly lit up, you have to pay special attention to the pedestrian. You know, we talked about pedestrian may be wearing a black coat and they may not be visible. So you also have responsibility as a driver, and both as a driver and pedestrian, if we take care for certain laws and be responsible, then we can avoid many accidents and we can save life. And life is very precious. We all have to be careful and care for this life, because it's not only for us, it's for our loved one as well. And always remember, we are lawyers, AlamLaw office, we are injury lawyers. Pedestrian accident, we deal with it. If you have any questions regarding any car accident as a pedestrian and you or your family members suffered, you can always consult us, our 24/7 emergency hotline at 416-625-2636. This hotline is available 24/7, where a lawyer will be able to speak to you. And thank you for listening to this segment.